Hello folks, my name is Mark, this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So, we've had another of Trump's inner circle bite the big one, that being Rex Tillerson. For those of you who don't know the story, Rex Tillerson was the CEO of Exxon for a number of years, and actually for decades. Basically he worked his way up from like an engineer to become the CEO. And really the only reason why he was there in the first place was to get the sanctions taken away from Russia so that they could do a multi-trillion dollar exploration deal in Siberia and shit. That didn't happen. So of course he's out of there. Right. Now how much those two things are connected, we really can't say at this point, but to say they're unconnected, I think is naive. All right. I think it's, plus also the fact that he criticized, Russia and then the next day he's fired. I mean, he basically criticized them over their extrajudicial, murder of an Russian spy in Britain through poisoning. I'm sure if you want to look that story up, it's big in the news right now, And he basically came out and said, yeah, Russia did it. Russia killed him. And then the next day he gets fired. It's like, how much are those connected? Who can say, right? But anyway, the point of this video, though, is, he's not the only one. I'm sure you've all kind of noticed that, that basically Trump's White House seems to be kind of a revolving door of polished turds, right? Basically just people the worst fucking people for the jobs, and all of them keep getting fired. They keep quitting, they keep getting fired, so on and so on. And the thing is, the one thing that Trump was supposed to be able to do, right, was to be able to hire people, right? We knew his ass didn't have any experience, right? He's never worked in government before. He's never done anything like that. He's never basically worked at a job where he wasn't the boss. If you think about it, Trump has very little work experience at all. Every single job he's ever had, he's owned the company, right? He's never not been the boss. He's never had to work his way up and so he doesn't understand things getting results, right? Having to work with less than what you need, shit like that, deadlines. He doesn't understand that kind of fucking thing, right? He doesn't understand delivery. All he understands is tell someone to do something and they do it, right? Maybe that's why he's such a shitty fucking businessman, such a crappy president. And, so that was the one thing. We were okay, well, at least, he's through years and years of business, he should be able to at least conduct a good job interview, right? And find qualified people. And every fucking person that he's put in the White House has been a goddamn disaster. Rex Tillerson never should have been there in the first place, all right? Rex Tillerson had so much conflict of interest that he never should have got past, the first step there. He obviously wasn't there for looking out for the best interests of the United States. He was looking out for the best interests of fucking Exxon, right? And then the minute that Exxon pulls out of this deal, within a week, he's fucking gone, all right? That shit is not a coincidence, okay? And, I mean, he's not the only one who shouldn't have fucking been there in the first place. Gary Cohn, right? Gary Cohn was he was the director of the National Economic Council, and basically the chief economic advisor to the president. If it looks like I'm reading this, it's because I am. You can see the reflection of my glasses here. And basically Gary Cohn was a fucking Goldman Sachs guy, right? And isn't that the thing that Trump said he was going to do? He was going to drain the swamp, get rid of all the special interests, shit like that. And he gets the fucking, this Goldman Sachs dude to be his chief economic advisor. It's ridiculous, right? Hope Hicks, less than a month ago, Hope Hicks quit, right? She was communications director, whatever that means. Basically she fucking, what did she do? She ran his Twitter handle or some shit like that. Who knows what communications director means in this White House. And basically, Hope Hicks was a fucking model. All right. Why was she there? Okay. She, like, what did she do? Number one, communications. Why did she give, who knows, right? And why was she qualified for that? Because she wasn't. Her fucking career was in, like, modeling, for crying out loud, right? Like, it's unfucking believable. Omarosa Newman, okay. She quit also, somewhere around December or so, but she's saying that actually she got fired, but she's saying that she quit. She was also the director of communications for the Office of Public Liaison. And what are her qualifications? She was on fucking a reality TV show, right? So she didn't have any. Why was she there in the first place, right? She was fucking one of Trump's friends from The Apprentice. And he liked her, so he gave her a job that, she probably had zero qualifications for. And it's probably no fucking, like, no, like, coincidence that she was escorted out by fucking armed guards, all right? I mean, it's just like all of these different people that have, like, come and gone, Sebastian Gorka, all right? Who the fuck is Sebastian Gorka? He's like, deputy assistant to the president, right? If you look at Sebastian Gorka, the guy has, like, no qualifications, right? His fucking, like, he's supposed to be a terrorism expert. He basically just made it up, right? I'm not gonna, like, sit here and slander the guy. Just research him for yourself, all right? Sebastian Gorka's a fucking fraud, all right? And, it's like someone that never would have gotten past, like, any decent fucking, like, background review, right? He has, like, connections to fucking fascists in Hungary, okay? Like, real life fucking Nazis. That's this guy Sebastian Gorka has, like, connections to. It's a joke, right? Steve Bannon never would have fucking got hired in any real White House either, right? I mean, God, we all know Steve Bannon was basically the CEO of fucking, Breitbart, right? Chief strategist. Okay, what the fuck does this chief strategist do? And I don't know. Scaramucci, Anthony Scaramucci, he left within 10 days. All right, and I mean, Scaramucci was like another communications director. All right, gets hired on, gets fired within 10 days. I mean, this kind of shit doesn't happen in other administrations. It doesn't, all right? Bush never hired somebody and then fired them within 10 days, okay? Obama never hired a fucking, supermodel, right? Or a fucking reality TV show contestant to serve in the White House. These people have important jobs, all right? The White House, they do way more than just fucking, like, make the president's meals and drive him around and wipe his ass when he takes... they do way more than that, okay? There's, like, actual policies and shit and things that have to, like, go through and be approved and stuff that has to... there's work there, important work for the country, right? And we have this fucking, like, clown car of, like, ridiculous fuck-ups that just, can't get the job done, and they keep coming and going and getting, and he keeps hiring even more completely fucking unqualified idiots to do this important work. And the result of this is that the White House is basically not getting any work done. And the government is, like, being paralyzed by Trump's fucking incompetence. The guy can't even hire people. The one thing that he was supposed to be able to do, he can't even fucking do it, all right? It's... Who can defend this guy? I don't understand. I don't understand how anybody can see just this fucking slow motion dumpster fire train wreck and defend this fucking guy. I don't know. Convince me. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm completely full of shit. Maybe it's a good thing that, the White House communications director gets hired and then is fired 10 days later. Maybe it's a good thing that the person that the new Secretary of State is like, I don't know. I mean, the CIA director they're putting in now is like, was involved in that whole torture fucking scandal. Have you guys read about this? It's like they're putting the person who was like, guilty of fucking torturing people in charge of the CIA. you know. And that's why, you know, that's the thing, is that Republicans don't give a shit about this, right? They like it when the government is stagnant. All right. They like the fact that, you know, all of these, the heads of all of these departments are like, you know, want to shut them down, right? Because they don't believe in government. They think government is something that should be shrunk down and drowned in a bathtub, right? Well, you're going to find out what happens, right? You're going to find out what happens when you drown the government in a bathtub, right? It fucking destroys the country. Okay? Right now, out there right now, there's, you know, companies polluting like crazy. Coal mining companies, like, you know, dropping toxic fucking shit into water supplies, right? You know, oil companies out there, like, building stuff without permits and shit like that. And it's all happening because the regulatory powers of the government have been stripped. If they haven't reversed the fucking, you know, regulations themselves, then they've put fucking monkeys in charge who can't, like, control it. You know, Rick Perry is in charge of the Department of Energy. That was one of the things that he wanted to dismantle. Do you think the guy's gonna give a shit if, say, a coal company is polluting? Right. Do you think he's gonna care? No. Okay. The Republicans like it like that. All right. This new person that he's putting in head of the CIA tortured fucking, like, you know, detainees and crap like that, right? Do you think they're gonna care? That person is gonna give a shit if the CIA does that again? No. Why? Because Republicans like it when people get tortured. All right? Because Republicans don't have any integrity. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care. And he could put fucking Pee Wee Herman in charge of the CIA, and Fox News would fucking defend him. All right? I'm not making this. This is not hyperbole. This is true. All right? I mean, I don't know. How bad does it have to fucking get? All right, before somebody, like, you know, before people stop supporting this man, right? I don't know, folks. This kind of thing is important. All right, you should really pay attention to who's in charge, right? Because that they have a, you know, because when everything gets fucked up and you're looking for someone to blame, that's who you gotta blame. The guy who's in charge. The buck stops here, all right? Ultimately, the buck stops at the desk of the president, and hopefully we'll hold him accountable very soon. Anyway, that's all I got. Adios.